morning. I'm Rod Miller, and welcome to my training series for performance horse development courses. What we're going to try and accomplish in this series of tapes is getting you as a rider to become effective and teaching your horse to accept your cues when you deliver them to them. As trainers, what we're trying to do is get our horses to be able to just accept our cues as we increase the demands of what we want them to do. How do we deliver our cues? We have 6 tools that we use when we're delivering cues to our horses. We have 2 hands, 2 legs, our voice, and our seat. In this first series, we're going to deal with hands and legs because those are the tools we're going to use to get our horse to accept and be soft when they accept. I have a very simple method of deciding which tool we're going to use in which situation. If it happens in front of the horn, I'm going to use my hands. If it's behind the horn, I'm going to use my legs. Okay? Let's first talk about leg rider position, an effective rider position. And every rider's different. So I'm not going to be too picky on rider position. As long as your legs are hanging down on the side of the horse behind the girth and you're sitting up straight in the middle of your horse, not leaning back or leaning too far forward, you need to sit there with your legs underneath you behind the cinch. Okay? Your hands, a horse cannot lean on one rein. Okay, so that's going to be a common theme in these first set of drills, learning how to get our horse to accept our hands. If I take a hold of both reins, he's going to lean on me a little bit, but if I take an arc on just a steady pressure with one hand and then I massage with this other one, see how he'll come down to my hands. He'll start to accept my hands, and I'll show him where his release is. Well, let's talk about release, because we've all seen videos where horse gives, we give back. Horse gives, we give back. Well, what happens is we get bobbleheads. Okay, so what I do is I want you to take a hold of your horse, and when he's leaning like that on the bit, you're going to massage a little bit, and then he's found his own release. He's not pulling on me. Now he's come back up. I'm going to massage a bit more. The trick here is not to pull more once he's found his release where you want him to stay. Okay, like right there. I don't pull, he comes up, I set again. Okay? A good way to think of this is think of it as a barrier. Okay? On this colt, we're not going to set really high, a really low barrier, really tight. We're going to say we just want him to flex at the pole just a little bit. Okay? So we're going to set our barrier right there. And anytime he challenges it, I'm going to massage, okay? When we find our contact, when we first get on our horse and we want to find the contact with the bit, okay? I'm going to use my elbows to find the contact. That's my barrier. Now I'm going to protect the barrier with my fingers. If he pulls more, I'll have to go to my elbows. But I'm going to try with my fingers and get him to accept that. Okay? We're going to talk about each rein now. Whenever you set an arc in your horse, and we're talking in these drills about direct and indirect rein, a direct rein is the rein we're going to pull the horse's nose with. That's the one we're going to establish arcs, we're going to establish the guiding. The indirect rein is going to be the outside rein. This will become very important as we start doing these drills, because we use our hands to ride anything in front of the horn, which is the shoulder. So if the shoulders drift, we have to move them with our reins. There are a couple exceptions to how we're going to start these horses. When you first get on your colt or your horse that you've been riding, they have a tendency to ride around with their head in the air while you pull, and there's no way you can get them to flex down with your contact. That is when we will teach them to be bobbleheads. We will pull on them until they go down, and as soon as they start down, we're going to give it back. Once your horse has learned that this little contact, he can put his head down and find release. Then you're going to start setting a barrier and massaging. So it all is going to depend on where your horse is at when you first start these drills. If they will kind of flex down no matter how much you have to pull, then we will not worry about, we'll let them find their own release down here. Okay, but if their tendency is to stay up here, we cannot pull them down. We have to encourage them and let them know that the release is down here somewhere. Okay? Now, the other thing I want to make sure, because you're going to hear this as we go through the drills, whenever you are pulling on your horse, I'm sitting on this colt pulling on him now, but whenever you start your horses, if you're pulling, you need to be pushing with your legs. Okay? The reason for that is everything has to have forward motion if we want them to develop a soft top line. Right now, all I've done is I've established that I can get him to flex his head, flex his poll, drop his neck, but I haven't established anything else. So I need to put the soft top line through the whole body, and we do that with our legs. Remember, if we want our horse to be soft throughout, we have to use all 4 tools for this.